once again, and good morning. It's time for Exiles TV. Hi, Bill.
Good morning. How are you?
Very well, very well. For once, it's not raining.
No,
but it looks like it. It looks like it could any moment.
Yeah,
now.
you can tell there's plenty of humidity though.
Yep.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting the frizzies.
Am I a little frizzy?
You know, you've gone beyond a little.
Beyond a little.
Beyond a little.
Lots of humidity in the air.
But if I had hair, that's what it would look like on a day like today.
The 2020 Humidity Festival is up and running, and we're practicing social distancing at this year's festival and wearing masks.
Yes.
I said this during the podcast. I have lost track of the days. I started out with this COVID-19 thing, counting the days, and I thought I was going to be cute. Remember when Rush Limbaugh did, day 365, America, held hostage? I thought we might do something funny, but I lost track of the days so quickly. And I don't know if you, Bill, are like me, but some days I lose track of which day of the week it is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's tomorrow's Thursday, right?
Councilwoman Denise Amoroso posted something that you have to look at it for a second, but it's hilariously funny. She's got one of these 2020 calendars that looks like a wall poster, you know? Mm-hmm. So you've got January, February, and then you go, it looks like a Salvador Dali, and then December.
Yep.
It just, now I'll tell you what I have been able to keep track of. Over the last week with all the storms, and yes, here it comes in Baton Rouge.
It looks nasty out there.
I'm actually keeping track of how many July hours my air conditioners have been able to cycle off. I'm thinking my energy bill is not going to be quite so onerous when it comes out at the end of this month.
Mm-hmm.
At least
it'll be nice.
Better not be.
That's a little stimulus.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and of course, if you're going to have AC trouble, it always is going to happen in late June, early July. I just spent $1,100 getting my AC working again.
Well, we just
with a part that lasted 6 years that they said you should get a good 20 years out of that part.
Yep.
With any AC system. So what are you going to do?
We just bought a whole new unit for one of ours.
Oh my God!
But you know what? You and I both share a really good AC guy, Derek Richard, with Champion City Air here in Baton Rouge.
Champion City Heating and AC.
And because it's going to get hot again, we may ask Derek to come in and share some air conditioning tips that you can use no matter what community you live in terms of. See, I didn't realize that when it's really, really hot, if you don't clean your filters inside. Mm-hmm. And if you got like grass clippings up against the grating outside and all that, it can actually cost you about $4 more an hour to run that AC unit. And
can contribute to failure of parts.
Yes.
Absolutely. A lot of people think AC is the sort of thing that, it's an appliance in my house, but it's nothing I have to mess with. Well, the truth is some regular preventive maintenance will make your AC last a whole lot longer.
Well, when we built the house, the architect said, to keep your electric bill somewhat reasonable and to keep things from wearing out, you actually need 3 zones and 3 units. Mm-hmm. And they're all different tonnage of AC tonnage. Mm-hmm. When they were installed, they had the first of the push-button thermostats where you had a digital readout. Now, it's not digital, but, instead of the old dial thing. And we have had to replace 2 of the 3 with truly digital thermostats. Mm-hmm. Those 2 units run more efficiently and less often, even in the same temperatures, than the other one that's still got its original analog thermostat.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. It can get a little complicated. But yeah, and for you ladies that watch during the day, you're going to like Derek. Derek's got muscles.
He got muscles.
He's got great big muscles.
He's a strapping young man.
He works out. Well, again, he's got to work in hot attics in the summertime and carry heavy stuff up there. That's not a job for wimpy guys.
Coming up on the show today, we're going to look back at the 2020 legislative session, the session that barely was. What got done? I know the budget was a huge struggle. But what got done and what was left unfinished? What needs to be addressed in future sessions? We're going to get it from the House perspective in the first hour with our good friend, State Representative Paula Pellerin Davis. And in our second hour, from the Senate perspective, Senator Franklin J. Foyle is going to be joining us.
I wonder, again, we are obviously going to be talking a lot about elections all over South Louisiana. Someone was mentioning Steve Carter, the last guy to qualify for mayor, president here in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, talk with Steve. We're going to get him on the program soon.
Well, again, I wonder what his colleagues or former colleagues from both the House, because he served in the House and in the Senate, what they might think of that.
As you recall, when Franklin Foyle was elected to the Senate, it was a very close race with Steve Carter being edged out.
Yeah, first time around, they called it a dead heat tie.
And it came down to having to recount the votes to see which person was actually going to go to the runoff.
But, someone was pointing out to me, Steve Carter has a very good reputation in Baton Rouge.
Oh, yeah, he's a good guy.
Steve Carter knows how to work the legislature because he's been there. And Steve Carter is the only one in the legislature for the last 8 years that had anything that looked like achievable traffic plans.
Man has boundless energy, and he has decided to run for mayor president of East Baton Rouge Parish. We will have Steve Carter on a future show, probably next week if I get my way. But Steve, I talked with Steve. He's recovering from a knee surgery.
Is he?
So I said, let's not try to get you on the set for a show while you're recovering from a knee surgery.
All those years of playing tennis.
I said, Steve, we sit on bar stools on the show, so we'll wait.
And he said, who do you think you're talking to, Mike Irwin?
Oh!
Oh!
Yipes, there's a Baton Rouge local joke for you. Hey, we're going to take our first break of the hour, quick one, and we'll be right back with more Exiles TV.
Taste the feeling.
State Treasurer John Schroeder, encouraging you to visit latreasury.com to search for your unclaimed property money. During this pandemic, we've returned money to businesses, local governments, and people across Louisiana.
New Orleans Habitat for Humanity found unclaimed property with the Louisiana Treasury.
Audubon Nature Institute has unclaimed property.
I found unclaimed property with the Louisiana Department of Treasury.
We still have over $800 million. This is your money. Claim it.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Glad to have you with us this morning. All over South Louisiana, a mixture today of sun and showers.
I think if I look out that window, I can actually see both going on at the same time.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, and not going to be as bad as it was early in the week, thankfully. Here's some good news. Film production crews are moving back into Louisiana in large numbers. They are kind of gearing up for a new season of production on episodic television and feature-length movies. I think the last one that was done here was Greyhound with Tom Hanks, mostly done here in Baton Rouge.
A lot of the show, the movie was shot here in Baton Rouge on the USS Kidd.
Well, and they also use sound
locations around it.
stages over at.
Our neighbors right down the street, Celtic.
Thank you. I went blank on that. Celtic Media Center. But apparently, they're looking into New Orleans right now, and soon Baton Rouge and Lafayette, and some of the northern Louisiana reaches that have. I mean, Natchitoches is a great town to shoot in.
Well, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, and you can make it look like anything. I mean, you can get down low where that river kind of rises above you. Mm-hmm. You know, and you can make that look, you know, like the Pacific Northwest.
You know, the arguments over film tax incentives that caused Hollywood South to kind of go a few years back, I thought were specious arguments, but yet they were bought. They were swallowed hook, line, and sinker by the people that matter, the people that vote things in and out. And they never acknowledged the fact that they said, well, we don't see any economic stimulus. It's like, well, just because you don't see anything going into the hands of the mayor or the city council in your district doesn't mean that money's not flowing into your district. I'm reminded of Magnificent Seven. Mm-hmm. When Magnificent Seven was filming, they built the town from scratch, from the ground up, and they built it all with locally purchased lumber and building materials. Yeah. That was a hell of a lot of money. I mean, we're talking like something like $2 million to build that town, mm-hmm. so they could blow it to smithereens at the end of the movie.
Well, but you know, we've gotten to this point, and it was, I don't know about this legislature because they're very new, most of them. Mm-hmm. But you know, 4 or 5 years ago, when they were debating this, what you had was people, you know, from little tiny towns, you know, in Grant Parish, that said, well, I don't get anything from it, so I'm going to vote against it. And they would rally people from all these little towns that basically, they may not benefit directly, but they also don't contribute spit to what really goes on in the state coffers. Mm-hmm. Face it, they're speed bumps. That's all they are. And it was all political, and it was all, I mean, I heard this one blowhard when they were talking about increasing funding for LSU. You know, I don't have any LSU in my backyard. And
so are any kids going to LSU?
Well, Dan Claytor, always a voice of reason, who had a rapier-like wit, said, yeah, but you have those season tickets, don't you?
Yep.
But, you know, this, again, I don't think, just like I don't think you should allow people who do not pay property taxes to vote on increases in millages, I think they really ought to, in the committees, talk to some of these people from these little areas that really don't contribute and say, before you open your mouth, I want you to understand that we all know you really, in the grand scheme of things, don't have a damn thing to do with any of this, and we are just gonna nut kick you all over the legislative floor if you go negative on us. I want you to understand that.
Well, what I found disingenuous when the argument was going on a few years back was some of the same people were saying, we need to diversify our economy. Mm-hmm. We're also saying no to the film and television industry being welcome here. It's like, what better way to diversify our economy? I mean, we built a soundstage, we built a studio. Science fiction films have been filmed at Celtic. That's the level of quality of their studios.
Well, we still have, whether we like to admit it or not, we still have a pretty good amount of parochialism in the state of Louisiana, and I'm always reminded of the fact that that beautiful place known as Walt Disney World was supposed to be in Livingston Parish.
Yep, supposed to be out by Satsuma, as I understand.
And way back then, the police jury, because they didn't have a parish council, they all met, and Walt Disney told them how many millions they were going to bring in, and how many roads they were going to build, and how much tax they were going to spin off. They didn't even ask for a tax abatement. They were unheard of at that time. And the police jury, we don't know if we want all them showbiz types with their carrying on and their divorces and their homosexuality.
Disney?
That's what they were told.
At the time, Disney was I mean, Disney has since diversified greatly, but at the time they were pure as the driven snow.
Or so
They were straight up family.
So they want you to believe.
Disney was straight up family. Yeah, I'm sure behind the scenes it was a different story, but
Hey, you know what goes on inside those plush suits? You wore one. You know what goes on inside those big plush suits and those big hats?
touch me in the morning.
Yeah, there you go. Well, yeah, I mean, that giant job generator, tax generator, tourism generator was supposed to be in the LP. But
do you know what else
they
happened?
let people from the LP at that time. At that time, you could tell that the toothbrush was in fact invented in the LP back then. You know why? Had it been invented anywhere else, it'd be called the teeth brush. But they actually let them make decisions. They actually allowed these ignorant cousin breeders to make decisions.
Making friends and Livingston Parish.
I said this is back then. Now, we
These
love
built for
everybody in the
feudal
LP. They've got a great school district and all that. I'm talking about this is like in, 67.
Well, it would have been about 1967, 68.
It was different then. Yeah, it was different then.
It was a different world. We had no I-12.
But you did have the KK Clay gift shop and uniform store right over the Amite River on Highway 190. Do you remember that? Did you ever see that?
It was, in fact, there. Yes, it was.
In the summertime, they have the red robe and mitre. And, as you got closer to Christmas, they would have the white one out. Yeah.
Well, yeah, with little Christmas fringe on it, little jingle bells.
And they have little cards for the holidays. Yes, Easter is about the crucifixion, and we may burn a cross on your lawn.
This is not the old South. This is the new South.
That's right. We don't have that anymore.
Is it time for another commercial break?
It is time.
All right. Let's do that. Quick one, and when we come back, we're going to talk more legislative matters on Exiles TV.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bugman, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bugman today, 923-BUGS.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hey, we're back. It's Exiles TV. Bill Profito over there. I'm Kevin Gallagher over here. And joining us now, there's a sight for sore eyes, our friend State Representative Paula Pellerin Davis from District 69.
Yes.
Glad to have you on the show.
Glad to be here. Congratulations on the show.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Very exciting.
It's exciting for us, too.
Yes.
The legislative session, because of COVID and all the imperatives, was not as exciting, perhaps.
No, it was exciting,
others.
I guess, in different ways. Right, because it was a shortened session. We went in March 9th, I believe, and had to recess for, I guess, almost 2 months till May 4th. So we went in, whole new crop of legislators, as y'all know. I think we have 40-something new members in the House, many over in the Senate. So it was an interesting first session for them.
So are you happy, because you've got experience now? You've seen a bunch of special sessions and four regular sessions.
Seven special sessions. That's and four regulars in a 4-year period.
Yeah.
That's usually over a span of 2 terms.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. A lot of people don't do that over their career, but yeah, that was pretty wild.
Are you happy with what got done?
I am happy with what got done. I think number one, and let me say, somebody asked me this the other day, what do you think was the biggest success so far of the session? And I have to say, you know, I can point to several pieces of legislation, but I think the biggest success for us as a body was electing Clay Schexnayder as Speaker of the House. Because I think that important things like tort reform, which we have tried to do, and the legislature has tried to do since I've been around since 1996, the legislature, and you know, Chuck McMains was able to shepherd in some things, Jim Donlin, and then it kind of stalled out. So I think because of Clay's leadership and his ability to bring the Democrats, Republicans, and Independents together, and he has a very unique relationship with the President of the Senate. I'm not sure that's ever happened before, where the President of the Senate and the Speaker of the House are working in tandem. And worked with the governor to get something done. So that, I think, was a major success for us, in that we elected someone who is a really good leader and really good at bringing everyone together. He's done an outstanding job in my mind. And so that's been a huge success for us in getting a lot of these bills passed.
I don't mean this as a negative, I mean it as a positive, but I have found you since the first day you took office that you are a very critical judge of your colleagues. If they're not getting something done, you'll say so.
I will say so, and I will kind of step in. And you know, my husband and I talked about this morning. I don't know if it's a female thing, but I tend to step in and try to get stuff done. You know, just like with the .45, we tried I don't know how many times in the last term. It wasn't the most popular thing to do, especially on the Republican side, but it's something that I think needed to be done, and I'm glad that we did it. Or else right now we'd be facing an even bigger shortfall than we're facing. So. Yeah, Clay Schexnayder, though, has been an amazing speaker.
Well, if he gets this kind of recommendation from you,
it's a good thing.
It makes me a little more satisfied.
At least with some people.
Yeah, it makes me a little more satisfied.
If you wouldn't mind expounding a little bit, because you just mentioned the .45, and there may be people watching don't have a clue.
Yeah.
Would you mind?
Sure. So when I took office in, November of 2015, I guess about a week before, the governor came out and said, hi, we have a $2 billion shortfall. When I was running that fall, REC was meeting, the Revenue Estimating Conference was meeting, and I think it was around $850 million at the time. So it was creeping up. We knew it was going to be bad. We didn't know how bad it was going to be. So over the last 4 years, we tried to fix what we called the fiscal cliff. so that, the state would not go down in flames. We would not lose our healthcare system. We would not lose our hospitals. We would not lose our universities. Because as y'all know, healthcare and education are the first things to be slashed when we have budget cuts because of the way our budget is structured and because of the way our Constitution is written. Mm-hmm. So we had to come up with a way to solve that fiscal cliff. And we had several attempts. There was a bill to enact a 2.25% onto a fifth penny. And when I say a fifth penny, that's a fifth penny in state sales tax. Mm-hmm. We had 4% sales tax. We went up to 5 during that first fiscal session of 2016. And then that penny was rolling off. So that was going to create the fiscal cliff. So subsequent to that, we had several members try to get something passed, and at the end of 2018, June of 2018, I filed a bill, and I think that was our third special session of that year, and filed a bill with a 0.45 extension of that fifth penny, and that's what solved the fiscal cliff. And TOPS was made whole, our universities were made whole, hospitals, all those sorts of different things. And so if we would have rolled that back last year, as it was tried to do, we would be short another $500 million.
Is there a partisan divide when it comes to filing a bill like that? I mean, does it matter who the messenger is on the bill?
Oh, I think it definitely matters who the messenger is. And we had some wonderful folks file bills before. Some of those folks may have been seen as too partisan, mm-hmm. whereas I try to stay middle of the road, not necessarily in my politics all the time, but I am someone who, as Dan Claytor says, doesn't believe that compromise is a bad word. And I do try to work across the aisle on my bills and on my legislation, because I know that's how it's going to get done. You can't, the fringes don't ever get anything done. You see that in Congress.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
They scream and yell, and but it's always the ones who kind of work together and work in the middle that get things done. Just like Clay Schacht-Snyder and Paige Cortez have done. Paige is president of the Senate. Mm-hmm. They have worked so well together and bridged that gap that has been created and has, I think, exacerbated over the last few years in the partisan divide.
What do you think we are going to be looking at, and is going to have to be addressed by the governor, by the legislature, by the voters, mm-hmm. As we get into more of a free environment? Sales tax collections have got to be not
down,
good.
Right. I haven't seen the numbers from the Department of Revenue, but actually the Revenue Estimating Conference is meeting as we speak.
They'll come up with $300 million. They always do.
They always find a little something somewhere.
One of
the agencies always seems
Richardson's
to find about $50 million.
Well, look at it, made out to the state of Louisiana, $300 million. It's
Dr.
always the same
Richardson
number.
stepped down from REC.
He did. He did.
He's been there forever.
Well, then maybe they lost.
He was there for about 30 years, I think. So that's institutional knowledge that hasn't disappeared, because he's still around, but he's not a member of that committee.
Is there going to be a call in the next session for increased taxes? Do we know what we're getting from the federal government yet?
I don't think we know what additional money we are getting from the federal government yet. I think that that's still being worked out with the White House and the Republicans in Congress. They say an act of Congress, that's a whole nother situation. Mm-hmm. Who knows when we're going to get it, what we're going to get. But I think we're definitely going to have a special session in October. We'll know today what our shortfall may be, if we have a shortfall. Again, I haven't looked at the Department of Revenue sales tax collections. We'll know that sometime today as well. But y'all were talking about it when I walked in, actually, and it's diversifying our economy. And that is something that I think is crucial, and I think that we need to work with our chambers of commerce around the state and also the Department of Economic Development, because we have to start thinking outside of the box, and we have to be creative. And we have to also get in the mindset that tax incentives are not necessarily a bad thing, as long as your product has a return on investment.
It's very interesting. Don Pearson spoke to Rotary Club in Baton Rouge. Mm-hmm. I guess it was a couple weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, mm-hmm. yeah. And he was very, very forthright. And he's not a terribly exciting speaker, but he does have his facts.
Yes, very knowledgeable.
He said, here's the deal. Yeah. We are going to have to explore new things.
Yes.
And we're going to have to vet them from a position of knowledge.
Correct.
In other words, you can't let groups of, people with nose rings that gather in groups of 8 or 9 outside the school board office saying, don't give Exxon a tax credit.
Right.
You're foolish if you listen to them.
Right.
And I guess he was trying to say, we have got to stop being foolish, particularly municipalities.
Oh, absolutely, because they've been hit the hardest in this COVID pandemic. Their economies and their budgets, and we see that.
It was like the point you made before we brought Paula on, that Livingston Parish, decades ago, had this marvelous opportunity, and it was largely Livingston Parish that said, no thank you. And I think that's where diversifying the economy and growing the economy, it's our local governments that really need to step up, not just in being cooperative with tax initiatives or incentives, but so got to clean up.
Be proactive, yes.
I remember many years ago we had a Japanese automaker scouting Northeast Louisiana for an auto manufacturing plant. And the guys, the site selection team came and they just didn't like the fact that we didn't clean up our litter.
Yeah.
And they thought, if you won't clean up your litter,
those things make a difference.
How are you supposed to care about your job in our plant?
Right.
And we lost, what could have been, I think it was a Toyota.
Valuing what's around us is just as important as our education system and our infrastructure system in attracting new businesses, in our legal system, which we just addressed in the session.
I think we have to take the gloves off in talking with our executive branch, with our legislatures, and I think they need to take the gloves off in speaking with the public and with municipalities. You can't be politically correct when you are in a financial crisis. You have to say, look, I know things are just fine in Rayville, but your opinion on this doesn't count. It really doesn't. We need to talk to people in the big cities that are producing the big bucks to make this happen. And I know people are loath to do that, but we have to have some perspective.
Sure. And it's easier said than done.
Oh, I know.
Oh, always
Glad
easy.
it's not me.
When I was on the municipal committee for the last 4 years, and one thing in my mind that we have to do, because as I sat in those committees and listened to some of the bills and thought, why in the world do we have to have a bill for the city of Erath or whatever city it is, whatever municipality, to do what they need to do as a local government? It kind of blows my mind.
Yeah,
and
why does it have to get legislative approval?
Correct. And a new legislator who sits on the municipal committee called me and said the exact same thing. Said, why do we even do this? I said, well, it's just part of our statutes and part of our Constitution.
We're going to take a quick pause, take care of a little bit of business, and we'll return with State Representative Paula Davis from Baton Rouge right here on Exiles TV.
That's right, the Clarence Buggs Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Profita, he's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Glad to have you along this morning. I'm Bill Profita. He's Kevin Gallagher.
That's the rumor.
State Representative Paula Davis is our guest. And I want to remind everybody that you can participate if you have a question about state government. We'll put the number up on the screen for you. You can call in. And also want to remind you that we have a full-length replay of this show that happens on this channel at 10 o'clock tonight. If you catch your early local news in the 6 o'clock hour and you don't want to watch it again at 10, well, tune us in right here. If you missed something, if you had to take a call at work, I know a lot of you stream us at work and all that, just go ahead and watch the replay. Now, if you have a question for Representative Davis, 225-831-1029. You can call in and we'll be happy to entertain your questions.
Absolutely.
So, you say we are probably going to have a special session in October?
I think so.
Is it going to be fiscal?
Fiscal only.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Will we know by that time what the level of federal commitment is going to be?
I hope so, because we're going to, if we have some buckets to fill, we're going to need to fill them up, possibly with that money. With with that's what we did this past session, filling up the buckets with the federal monies that came in, and I think Chairman Zerang and Bodie White, actually out of Central, our friend Bodie, did a great job in handling those bills, the appropriations bills, but I think we're going to have a special session.
Well, and since 100% of the members of the House of Representatives have to run November 3rd, and a third of the Senate, including Bill Cassidy, has to run.
Correct.
And the incumbent president has to run.
Yeah.
They're going to want checks to come to the states.
Right.
Before November 3rd, well before that. So I would hope that we would see what we're going to get maybe around the end of September.
I hope before then, because I think they go into recess in October, maybe early October, late September.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure before then.
So you're running for re-election. There hasn't been a lot of noise about it.
No, I'm not running for re-election. Garrett Graves, Steve Scalise, the U.S.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. It took me a second. I thought, am I running again?
I get confused because we have so many elections and we have them every year.
Kevin just announced your candidacy for Congress.
Are you running?
No.
You are going to want to continue in the legislature, though.
I love what I do. Yeah, I love what I do. I love serving in the legislature. It's been a fun 4 years, 5 years.
It's going to be a tough sale, I think, if we don't get a big federal bailout.
It's going to be tough.
And I'll tell you what else people are starting to bridle against right now is they're just realizing that our unemployment compensation for hardworking people is the third lowest in the nation.
Yes.
And everybody is saying the same thing. You cannot put food on your table and pay your mortgage on $227 a week.
$247, whatever. Yeah.
And I'm wondering if anybody in the fiscal session is going to look at a measure that may make that a little more realistic.
That is possible, but again, it would have to be in the call.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on if the governor calls us into session or if we call ourselves into session, that's what we did in June. So we controlled the call. I'm not sure those discussions have happened yet, but I'm sure that leadership is thinking about that.
Well, other than addressing mid-year budget cuts or budget adjustments, what else do you think a special session might look after?
I actually think that it's just going to be fiscal only. I would say it's going to be a 2-week session, fiscal only, get in and get out.
New taxes?
No. I don't think we'll address it.
There's just not the atmosphere for it right now.
No, not at all.
And you know what?
We have a fiscal session next year, so we'll have an opportunity if anyone wants to file any tax increases or decreases. We're welcome to do that, but you won't see that in the special.
And just an observation.
Let me clarify. We could see it in special, again, depending on who calls the session and who is in control of the call.
And what's in it.
But I can't imagine that, number one, a tax increase would be filed, and number two, that would gain any traction.
Well, let me ask real quick about calling the session, because the special session you all did was one of the first times in recent history that the legislature has made the call.
Yeah.
Do you think it could be?
It could be.
The leaders that want to do it again, or will the governor beat you to it?
Good question. I don't know.
And some of that was also preemptive, I think, letting the executive branch know that even though we've got a bunch of new people here, we still reserve the right to retain control.
And there were certain bills that we knew were going to get vetoed. And so we wanted to be able to control the call so that we could put those instruments back into the call and have those bills heard and eventually passed.
Well, again, an observation, and I may be wrong, but it seems to me that the one good benefit of COVID was that the legislature, in both the regular session and the special, did away with all we have to have a bill to name a special rock.
We did,
in
right,
ERAF,
correct.
And we have to recognize Cub Scout Troop number 421.
Yes.
You basically had a very efficient legislative session and special session that was actually to be admired for its efficiency.
Absolutely, you're right. During the first COVID, when we went home, the speaker called the chairwoman of the committee, and said, "Hey, I need you guys to call your members and say, look, if this bill is not absolutely necessary, if it's something that you can have next year or year after, put it on the back burner. We really want to deal with COVID-related issues and then issues that we deem essential, tort reform being one of those." As we talk about diversifying business, tort reform, I think, plays a big part into that. But we were able, I know I had probably 19, 20 bills that I had filed, and I think I passed 4 of those. I just put everything on the back burner. Nothing was that important.
And your colleagues did the same.
And they did the same, yeah. And they did the same. I think we had 1,300 bills filed initially in the regular session, which is a lot, but again, that was before COVID. And then in the special session, with the speaker and the president controlling the agenda, they were able to also control the amount of bills and talk to members and say, look, we're just going to file this. We're going to have specific authors. So they really did control the agenda, and I think we had a successful special session.
Paula, I'm going to bring up something that's negative. There are voices in the state that are angry because the legislators did not vote to override the governor's emergency orders and the shutdown, blah, 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 blah. And these are some of the most conservative of members. And I'm not going to ask you how you voted. If you want to tell us, that's fine. But I didn't see it as something that was going to succeed to begin with when it was first announced. But can the argument be made that what the governor is doing is based on the recommendations from the White House?
Correct.
So if you're a Trump guy, why do you hate it when John Bel Edwards does it?
Correct. No, I completely get it. And again, John and I have these conversations very often. The petition did start, Representative Seabaugh started the petition, I believe, back in March when the emergency health declaration first came out. And back in May, he issued a statement saying that he had the 53 votes needed, or the 53 signatures needed to override the governor. So I'm not sure why that hasn't been done, other than the fact that he must not have the number of signatures. But again, to your point, that's correct. That's absolutely correct in that, from what I've been told and what I think the public has been told, is and from what I hear from my friends, the speaker who's been on calls with the vice president, and the president of the Senate's been on the calls with the vice president, is that the governor is following the advice of the White House task force.
Well, and it has been almost daily.
Yes.
It hasn't
to
been,
the T.
we're going to send you a letter. It's been almost
And I
daily.
think there are consequences to the action of repealing that emergency order. So for hospitals, for federal future federal aid. So I think, for me, I have to really take a step back and look at what benefit does it give my constituents to overrule that emergency order. And for me, I don't think it gives us any. And also in the petition, it says you will give that control to the locals, to the municipalities. Well, our mayor issued a mask mandate before the governor did.
Well, and again, this is part of the old hangover politics, I call it. This is like stripper bills and things like that. This is somebody that, even if it had gone to a vote to override, it would have ended up in a protracted court battle that would have cost millions and millions of dollars, and we would all be dead from our heart attacks before it was ever acted on. But it was to stick his thumb in somebody's eye because he thought he could score political points, and that's the thing I'm seeing less of in the legislature, and I want to see none of it.
Yeah.
Completely
agree with you. I completely agree with you.
This is loudmouth, be a jerk politics, and he knew that it wasn't going to go anywhere, but he put it in anyway.
Yeah, and it's still out there. It's still floating out there. I've had only 2 constituents contact me about it and asking me to please sign it. And some of only two. I've had,
there you go.
Right, only 2, and I've had colleagues who have not signed it, who have had had constituents call them. And once you sit down and explain, these are the consequences to this action. If we do this, and granted, we would be the only state in the nation that would do this, reversing a health emergency.
Another great Louisiana trend.
Right. Once you sit down and explain to people, and that's all it takes. It may sound good, a soundbite, it may sound good.
I'm standing up for the little guy.
Right, exactly. But when you actually sit down and explain the consequences of those actions, people get it. It's no different than explaining a bill. They'll say, why didn't you vote for this, or why did you vote for this? Well, let me tell you what exactly was in the bill, rather than what you just heard on TV or in a soundbite or on a Facebook post.
State Representative Paula Davis, we are so glad you were here.
Thank you for having me. Absolutely.
And I'm watching the clock. I know we have to get you out because you have another commitment.
Yes, I do.
So we're going to say thank you very much. And we
Appreciate
look forward to seeing you again.
And we'll be back with more Exiles TV in just a moment.
Thank you.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis. not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Clarence Bugg Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
We're back with Exiles TV, and we thank State Representative Paula Davis for her time. In our next hour, we're going to look at things from the Senate's perspective, as our friend Senator Franklin J. Foyle will join us. He is the senator in District 16, which is also in the Capital Region. And we welcome any member of the Louisiana legislature who would love to be part of this program at any time. We'd love to talk to you.
Any of them?
Any of them? Well, maybe not Alan Seabaugh. I don't have any issue with Alan Seabaugh, but I almost jumped into that conversation. He's always been a showboat and a hot dog.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
I mean, there ain't enough mustard in the world for that hot dog.
I'm not saying he's a bad man. I'm just saying that's always been his style, and sometimes that's the way it is. Another state representative who's known as a kind of a showboat and a hot dog, and he's running for Congress, is Lance Harris up in the Monroe area. He is running to replace Ralph Abraham in the U.S. House of Representatives.
Yeah, now some of that gets into our viewing area because some of that district goes right to the bottom border of, I think it's East Feliciana Parish.
East Feliciana Parish and parts of St. Helena. Those are parts of that congressional district. So Lance Harris, I think he's got a pretty good chance. But maybe we'll get him on the show as well. I know one that we'll have a difficult time getting anytime soon because I've talked to, we've had candidates for mayor of East Baton Rouge Parish on the program recently, and we have more to come, including Steve Carter. But the mayor's office, after reaching out to them several times, they gave me an official response, and they said, to her honor, Ms. Broom is more focused right now in, as they put it, leading the community out of the current health crisis. Who can argue with that? So when things look like they're starting to calm down, probably closer to the election, Ms. Broom's people have said they will get her on the program.
Well, and that'll be just fine. A sad note today, Herman Cain, who ran for president, he rose to national prominence as the CEO of Godfather's Pizza.
Yep. Smart man. He had the 999 plan. Remember that?
He was considered to head the Federal Reserve, and he passed. He absolutely passed on that. He was a good businessman.
He passed on the Federal Reserve, or are you saying he passed away?
No, he passed on the Federal Reserve.
Okay.
He did not want it.
And he did, in fact, pass away.
Yeah. He had actually been board chairman of the Kansas City branch of the Federal Reserve, which is why he was being considered. It wasn't just one of these, oh, you're a Republican politician, we're going to plug you in. One of the things I remember about Mr. Cain very, very much when he was running, and it seems that any candidate that runs for high political office has people that want to accuse them of inappropriate sexual behavior. And usually it's somebody just trying to throw rocks and they can't really come up with anything terribly credible. But he said, I am going to let my wife handle this one. And Mrs. Cain was like, we still hold hands when we go watch a movie in a theater. She said, if I thought that any of this was in any way true at any time, he wouldn't be standing here because I'd have killed him already. And you know what? People took that to the bank, and all of that went away. But
But not before his campaign for president was destroyed utterly.
Well, but his campaign wasn't going to go anywhere. It wasn't time.
Well,
it wasn't time for a black Republican then.
And there are people, I think, part of the reason Herman Cain was destroyed was because there are people who think a black man has no business being a Republican.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, too.
And if you're black, you should be a Democrat. You should be a liberal. You should be a progressive. And if you're not, then you should not be taken seriously.
But he was a businessman. And at that time, even more so than right now, the Republican Party was the party of solid business principles. You know, and they always thought at that time that if you kept your business straight, you would have the money to do the social programming without harming people in the tax base.
Right.
That has all gone away, by the way.
Well, nobody seems to care about the tax base anymore, because if we can't get enough money from the taxpayers to do what it is we think we should do, we'll just print it. Well, we'll borrow it from more Saudis and more Chinese, and the country's in a bad way, Bill, because of the attitude of not dealing with things as they are and the realities of things, but dealing with things as we feel they should be.
But it's
just my opinion.
He was an advocate, a very early advocate. I want to explain to people who may not have been of voting age then. His 999 tax reform plan,
I loved it,
would have replaced almost all taxes with a 9% income tax, a 9% corporate tax rate, and a 9% national sales tax.
Federal sales tax.
Now, by the way, in countries where they do what's called a VAT, which is a federal sales tax, people's personal income tax is very low because you have a choice on whether or not you want to pay the VAT. And you also then collect an awful lot of money from other than your taxpayers, visitors, tourists, things like that. Multinational corporations that are doing business in your country. But there have been people ever since that have been talking about the flat tax. Now, they've said the flat tax should be around 10 or 11%. I say tomato, tomato. This guy had the idea and made it a nationally prominent idea first.
How many people do you think would get behind the idea of a national sales tax if the income tax were flattened to a lower rate? Because for most people, it's somewhere between 21 and 27% of your income. Let's go considerably lower than that, and let's eliminate the whole idea of the federal income tax return.
If you had, for example, a flat tax of 10% and a VAT of 12%, that would still save the majority of people who file an income tax return at least 2%. I will tell you, there are years that Karen and I have been in the 32% bracket. That would save us a lot of money. But you know what people don't like about this tax? It's fair, because a lot of people don't pay any income tax at all, and they would love to keep it that way. You know what? If it's collected at the register, your tax bill is paid.
See, everybody spends. And wasn't it President Obama that said everybody needs to have skin in the game?
That's what he said.
Everybody spends. And if everybody spends, then everybody is taxed. And
but
it's the only way to do it fairly.
I wouldn't say that I was likely to vote for Mr. Cain, but I sure admired his candidacy, and I admired the way he looked at the fiscal picture. And again, at that point in history, you would expect a black presidential candidate to make a lot of promises. He did not. He said, here's the plan. It's a business-like plan. It doesn't deal with special interest groups at all. So God rest him. He did a good job.
Second hour of Exiles TV is coming up in just moments. Stay there, please.
Belello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Belello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hello. Hola. 你好.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Profita, he's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hey.
Hi, y'all.
How y'all doing?
It's good.
Are we gonna branch off and go into like the suburbs of Atlanta going, hey, how y'all this morning?
Howdy.
Howdy.
As we're doing the program live right now, also, we have a news monitor for breaking news. This is not breaking news, but it's consequential. The funeral services for Representative John Lewis are going on, and Fox News is giving that wall-to-wall coverage. John Lewis was a galvanizing figure, but he was also a polarizing figure.
Mm-hmm.
Some people thought John Lewis was a great American. Some people thought John Lewis was anything but.
And isn't that ever thus with people that are involved in great struggles and embroiled in ideas of change?
But if you don't know the background of John Lewis, he was at the arm of Reverend Martin Luther King.
Mm-hmm.
He was a contemporary of Jesse Jackson, and he made most of his career in Congress a struggle for human rights.
You know what I didn't know about John Lewis until his death? That he was invited by Martin Luther King to speak at the March on Washington. Martin Luther King said, I will send you a ticket and prepare 20 minutes of remarks. And he was a college student at that time.
Very young man.
Something, by the way, that Bill Clinton tried to do with Cleo Fields at the Democratic National Convention.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think that once you have had the rhetoric of certain people who serve in the national legislature, once you've heard it once, you've heard it 1,000 times. The musicians may be different, but the track is the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't. That's not a pejorative. I'm just saying that's the way it is.
They kind of fall back on
and it doesn't,
platitudes.
And it doesn't matter if they're civil rights leaders or if they're strong defense leaders, or if they're economic, tight-fisted leaders. It's always the same. And so I didn't pay much attention until the Mueller hearings in January. And Representative Lewis was chairing that committee, and in that committee, the chair gets the last word. And I just happened to be in front of a TV, and if I couldn't see him, I would have thought that he was, at that moment in time, a conservative Republican because he was being fair. And he chastised the other members of that committee for having loaded questions, unproven allegations that they put out on the floor, rude behavior, and disorderly conduct. And that was actually the last time I heard him speak about anything. But I sat there at the TV and I went, well, all right, John, you're not just a partisan hack. All right, John.
Well, would that Congressman Lewis would have been around. Well, maybe it's a good thing he wasn't around to see what we witnessed in the House Judiciary Committee earlier this week, because that was just a horrible display of behavior by certain members of that committee. Disrespectful, rude, name-calling. I understand that that partisanship puts quite a divide between Republicans and Democrats, and I understand that there are allegations being made by the Attorney General that they don't necessarily want to hear because it involves members of their own party. And but I have never seen such a horrible display of disrespect for witnesses or a witness in front of a House committee as I saw Representative Jerry Nadler engage in earlier this week. It was a circus. There's another word I want to use that starts with an S and ends with the word show.
Oh, yeah.
But it was just a horrible, horrible display.
Well, yeah, and I don't know about you, but I'm getting tired of, well, they speak their mind, and what that really means is they're trying their best to be caustic, rude, and dismissive. I would like to see people who sit in the national legislature to have good manners and good listening skills as well as good oratory skills. I'm a big boy. I don't expect Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to espouse the views that I espouse. That's not her job.
No, I'd be afraid the earth would split under my feet if I heard
But she's very, very foolish to think that I am going to espouse her views. And you know what? It's okay. I don't expect a cat to bark or a dog to mew. But we have too many people inside government and also outside government, the citizenry, that's what they want to see. They want to see rudeness, bad conduct. They want to see mortal combat because they go, I can't believe that Nancy Pelosi is saying this. She's not going to say what you want her to say. Trust me.
No.
And you really shouldn't expect her to say what you want her to say.
You're a hardcore conservative. She's never going to please you, ever.
Well, and at the same time, you got this guy, Louis Gohmert.
Yep.
And I met Louis a few times when I was doing those Washington, D.C. broadcasts.
Bill on the Hill, I remember those.
Holy crap. He is a freak show in unreasonable, radical, conservative thought. This guy makes Goering look like Hillary Clinton.
Don't mince words, Bill. What do you think?
The thing is, you come off like a nut job.
So you don't like Louis Gohmert?
He's a nut job. He really is. And see, the thing is, he can be a nut job because I believe that he's in the district that was once held by the late Charlie Wilson. And it is a district that doesn't need anything. Okay? They don't expect their congressman to bring anything back from Washington. So he can sit there.
We're flush, thank you.
He can sit there and trade votes and try to be a kingmaker and be outrageous with no consequence. But the point being, no one should expect him to do anything different. And he shouldn't expect AOC to do anything different.
If you see Tony the Tiger walk through the door, you know he's going to push Frosted Flakes, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Time for our first break of the hour. Let's take that right now. This is Exiles TV. Coming up this hour, State Senator Franklin Foyle.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Welcome back. It's Exiles TV. Bill Profita over there. I'm Kevin. And in the center chair, please welcome a member of our state legislature from the Baton Rouge area, District 16 to be exact, Senator Franklin J. Foyle. Good to see you again.
Kevin, great to be back with you and Bill.
Good to have you.
Thank you for having me today.
If you don't mind, good blazer.
Thank you.
That is the perfect blue blazer.
Yep.
That is perfect.
That's my, when I'm out of session, look. This is my business casual.
It's a
Every
good look.
man needs a blue blazer with brass buttons.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But that's like one shade lighter than mine, and I like that shade.
Of course, now that you're on TV, I have to make sure I dress for the interview properly.
Well, see, what we do is we do television dressing. Well, today I'm dressed properly, but most of the time we're in jeans underneath because you can't,
Always
you can't
wearing
see
jeans.
you can't see the lower half. It's, it's an old TV trick.
And when I was on the radio, I didn't worry about what I wore at all.
Mm-hmm.
You get to wake up a little bit later for this show.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I was.
Ask me, do I miss 3:30 a.m. wake up calls?
No, I can't do that anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. No, let me put it this way. You can buy me. I could.
I understand.
I could be persuaded. So how are you?
I'm doing great. We had a really good legislative session despite all the challenges with COVID. We were very fortunate that the CARES Act money came through. That really dodged a bullet for the state financially this year. Next year is going to be a huge challenge, and we really don't know where that will be. But I enjoyed my first time, my first year in the Senate. It's a much smaller body than the House. I found it was easier to get things done because you're dealing with less people, and really enjoyed the experience so far. So things have gone well.
Paula Davis from the House was on before you. It is her opinion that there may be a fiscal special session called for October. How are your feelings?
Yeah, I think there will be. I've heard November, but it could be October. We still need to see what other CARES Act dollars are going to come down and how our budget may change. I mean, we just don't know where this COVID thing's going to play out or end with unemployment and the things it's doing to wrecking the economy here. So we need to see what dollars we get from the federal government, and I expect us to be back in October or November.
Is there no, I'm trying to formulate this question, is there no thought of finding a way to work with this virus out among us? I mean, everything seems to be shut it down, stay at home, wear the mask, close the business, and I just don't understand how we think we can go on like this. We've got to get back to some level of normalcy in Louisiana. I mean, it's killing our economy. It's causing people to have to, their homes, their jobs, their careers are at stake. How much longer can we continue like this with a simple disease threat?
Well, we certainly can't continue like this forever, and I feel confident that the hospitalizations will go down fairly soon. They've plateaued out, and if that goes down, then there's no reason that we cannot loosen the restrictions and go back and do things more with our businesses. We're going to have to continue to social distance. That's just with us for the immediate future. But we've got to open the economy back up. But once again, we have to have the capacity in the hospitals.
I know nobody wants to talk about this. I don't want to talk about it. But I think we're going to have to start at least opening a discussion about what are acceptable losses. Because we can all stay healthy and well and come back to absolutely no economy. So we'll just starve to death after we've dodged the COVID bullet. And, it's something nobody wants to talk about, but as a practical consideration, isn't there an obligation somewhere to talk about at which point do we go to an acceptable losses mode?
Yeah, I think you're onto something, Bill. I mean, we have the flu every year where we have losses, but we don't shut down the economy. And you have other diseases that have come down. So it's something we're going to have to consider. Once again, I'm hopeful that fairly soon the hospitalizations come down and the governor will move us to the next phase 3. I know LSU football is still up in the air, and they're hoping to play in front of live crowds. So, yeah, those are things we're going to have to look at because we cannot stay in this shutdown forever. It'll kill everyone's jobs. It'll kill the economy.
And don't get me wrong, I don't want to see hospitals overwhelmed. I know how horrific that can be. I saw the CEO of the largest hospital in the state of Louisiana this past weekend, and it's a war zone in there. I get that. And I get the difference between this and the flu in that you have a rapid number of people that is a large number all appearing at the same time. But at the same time as I understand all that, I also understand that there is absolutely nothing to gain by putting $20,000 into repairs in a $2,000 car that's not going to run when you're done anyway. Sooner or later, we're going to say, if there is a vulnerable population, and that is what is keeping us from actually getting back to something like normal where people can work, live, educate, and survive, then we're going to have to say, we're going to take our chances here.
Yeah, no, I agree. We can't stay in this pattern forever. And, once again, what I'm encouraged by is if we're doing more tests, so clearly more people are detected with coronavirus, but what's important to see is what is the percentage of people who are testing positive. For the last week, it's been under 10%, which is good. So I think our numbers are trending in the right direction, and I think we're going to have to continue to move forward to open the economy. And as soon as the hospitalizations go down, I think we will. Once again, we'll have to continue the social distancing, and big crowds are going to have to wear masks. It's just part of it. But if we want to open the economy, I think that we can all work together to do these things.
Now, I touched on this with Representative Davis last hour, and the overarching topic is political posturing. There's a legislative attempt to override the governor's emergency order and reopen our state.
Right.
And it seems to me a lot of the people that would like to see this happen, that are willing to sign the petition and are backing the petition, are the kind of people who go, make America great again, Trump 2020. But the governor is following the White House directives. So if you support the White House, why would you not support the governor in this?
Yeah, he is. In fact, I saw the governor yesterday, and we talked briefly about it, and he said he's following Dr. Burke's recommendations when she was down here visiting last week. So I think he is trying to follow the White House. The problem, and I understand the frustration, I hear it from people all the time, but the problem is if you just get rid of the executive order, then you have chaos. You have nothing in place. Mm-hmm. And so I think the frustration with a lot of legislators, early on, the governor did not really do a good job with communicating with us about what his steps are going to be as far as opening up the economy. And I think that's gotten better, but that was a real problem at first. And but I think we're moving in a better direction in that respect. But I think you have to have some order in place. You just can't have chaos.
If you don't mind, speaking of fiscal matters, as you are going to be in October and November, there is a very stark realization that is now happening in the state of Louisiana that our unemployment benefits are like the second worst in the nation.
Right.
And you hear you can't put food on your table, gas in your car, and pay your mortgage on $227 a week. Is there any appetite, while we're in a fiscal session, to look at perhaps changing our unemployment compensation rate? I believe the next nearer state to us is close to the national average, and that's $348 a week. So that's about 35% more. That makes it a little more doable.
Yeah, I think you're going to start hearing more about it. I haven't heard much so far because the CARES Act plussed up the unemployment significantly with the $600 a month.
And that expires tomorrow.
Well, it does, and probably, in my opinion, it's almost too much plus up, because I'm hearing now a lot of restaurants and other places can't get people to come back to work because they make more being unemployed. And I know some real life situations. So you've got to balance that. Clearly, we want to help people out of work, but we also want to encourage people to go back to work when they can. The problem with raising the unemployment benefits, as you know, that's a tax that's taxed on businesses that supports that fund. And so we'll have to look at the proper balance.
Who is going to agree to that?
Well,
and it's going to need to be substantial if you're going to make a substantial increase in weekly benefits.
But the fact of the matter is, and we talked about this earlier in the show, is we're going to have to start asking questions that we don't want to ask for political correctness' sake, because these people that work in industries that are saying, I'm not coming back to work, well, you can solve that. Because if you are drawing unemployment and you refuse a job offer that is legitimate, you cut off their unemployment. But see, nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to push that particular button.
And that's actually the rules right now.
And that is the rules.
That is the rules. They're not being enforced like they need to be.
And because, we're being sensitive and we're being nice, you could probably extend that monster benefit and not have all these hospitality workers sitting at home eating bonbons while their bosses are trying to hire new people.
Yeah,
you can do it. And you have to do it yourself. You have to call, and you have to say, Kevin Gallagher had worked for me for 4 years. He is taking unemployment now. I called him back to work, and he said no because he's drawing unemployment.
I'm just bone lazy.
And here's his name. Here's his social. I'm his employer because I have that.
Right.
And then they will push the button. And that solves that problem.
I think we have the technology where we can track that. And I think if there is any discussion about raising the unemployment benefits, that's going to be part of the discussion as well, the enforcement, requiring people to actually be seeking work and not staying purposely unemployed.
Now here's another unemployment benefits question. there has been talk of requiring people to pass drug screenings in order to get any kind of state or federal help. How do you feel about that?
I would be open to that. I mean, look, I'm a member of the military and I subject myself to drug screening all the time. So I think if you are getting these benefits, we want to make sure that you are staying healthy and using the money.
What is that going to cost? In Louisiana alone, you'd have to drug screen close to 700, 800,000 people.
That's a damn good point, Bill. Who's going to pay for that?
Well, the thing is, it's not a zero-sum game. It's a losing game. So maybe you find 5%, and you're paying this 5%. That would be 35,000 people, and you're paying them their $227 a week. But the testing of the entire group is costing you 15 times your positive result. And again, that's just people trying to be punitive and obstructionist. It's stupid.
You could do random drug testing, and that's how we do it in the military. I mean, sometimes you'll do the whole unit, but usually you just get your number comes up, and hey, you at any time you're subject to that.
We've seen, from example, that if you do it randomly, that's usually enough incentive, you know, or disincentive rather, to get the whole group to play it straight.
But what I'm saying is there are bigger problems with unemployment and all the government programs than that.
The biggest problem is making sure people are actually looking for work.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that needs to be enforced. It's in the rules. It makes sense, and we want to encourage people. I know some people who now are off work collecting unemployment because they told me I'm making more unemployment than I was working. In fact, I did the math for someone recently, and I think if you maxed out at Louisiana benefits and then you were getting the 600, that's equivalent to someone making over 40,000 a year.
It actually, because it's 6 months and they do withhold federal taxes, you walk away with about $32K.
Yep.
It ain't bad. We have to take a quick break. We will be right back with Senator Franklin Foyle. This is Exiles TV. Stick around.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
State Treasurer John Schroeder, encouraging you to visit latreasury.com to search for your unclaimed property money. During this pandemic, we've returned money to businesses, local governments, and people across Louisiana.
New Orleans Habitat for Humanity found unclaimed property with the Louisiana Treasury.
Audubon Nature Institute has unclaimed property.
I found unclaimed property with the Louisiana Department of Treasury.
We still have over $800 million. This is your money. Claim it.
Clarence Bugg Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Buggs Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Welcome back. It's Exiles TV. If you're just joining us, the gentleman in the center seat is State Senator Franklin J. Foyle, Louisiana Senate District 16, which is in the Capital Region. And thank you for your time. Good to
Glad
talk
to be
you
here with you.
So, we talk about the legislative session, and I thought it was very streamlined and very orderly because of COVID, and because you had a lot of new folks that were just kind of learning the ropes from the old hands. Is this the kind of conduct we think we're going to see in our legislative sessions going forward?
The first year in a new term is always different because you have so many new people. But with the COVID, I mean, it was not like anything I've ever experienced because a lot of people stayed away from the Capitol because of that. So, on the one hand, I thought we were efficient because we got a lot done. But on the other hand, it is not unfortunate that the public cannot participate, and we can't have that, forever. The public needs to be able to come down and have input, although I thought we had very good safety measures in place to allow the public access.
Let's talk for a minute, because Bill brought it up a little bit with Representative Davis. What I'll call non-consequential bill filings. We're going to rename this section of the state highway after Little Johnny, or we're going to have a state cat. Or
state butterfly was actually introduced.
Non-consequential bills that the state is not going to suffer if we don't pass this.
Right.
Someone told me not so long ago that they said, well, these come out of the House. These don't come out of the Senate. Do you find that to be true, or is it an equal amount of both?
There's some in the Senate as well, but I think there's probably more in the House, and I'll tell you what I've learned being over in the Senate. There are 39 senators. 20 of us are new senators, but yet only 9 had never served in the House before. So you have people with more experience in the Senate side. And look, people will ask you to bring all kinds of bills, and I've learned now to say no at times.
We have a phone call for Senator Foyle. Let's see. Do I hit the speaker button first or the line first?
Just hit the line.
Hit the line. All right. HB, good morning. You are on with Senator Franklin Foyle. How are you?
Good morning. How are y'all doing?
Good. What's on your mind?
Good morning.
I wanted to ask Senator Foyle if he thought, in his opinion, if we would, as a statewide population, obey the rules and regulations under Phase 1 to a tune of about 70%, would we be in Phase 3 now if we would have complied with the rules originally as a majority of the population?
Interesting
question.
That's a good
question. Yeah, that's a good question. I think under Phase 1, for the most part, what I saw, people were complying, and we got to Phase 2. Not as quickly as I would have liked to, but we certainly got there and seemed to be going in the right direction. I think probably the biggest problem is having the bars open and people in close contact. Under the regulations, in the bars, you were supposed to sit down at a table only, but we know people don't go to bars to do that. You have loud music, you're talking loudly, yelling at the bartender for a drink.
And you weren't supposed to have any music, by the way, at the bars.
Yes, and so I think that was a major problem, but in any event, I agree with you. If we keep these safety measures, if people adhere to the safety measures, there's no reason business can't open.
HB, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
He was listening on the air. But thanks for the call, HB. If you have a question, go ahead and give us a shout. The number, we'll get that thrown back up on the screen, 225 831-1029.
That's correct.
From,
Hey,
from memory.
You're doing well.
Hey.
Good memory.
Alzheimer's hasn't quite set in yet. But yeah, we've got plenty of time to take some calls. So if you have a question, by all means.
Let me ask you a little bit about the mayor's race in Baton Rouge. You have a Baton Rouge district, and you have served in the Baton Rouge district for a very long time.
Yes, I have.
Your family has been heavily involved in Baton Rouge politics.
Yes.
Your dad, a retired judge. What do you make of this race with 8 people in it, and a very short campaigning season because of COVID?
It's going to be very challenging to campaign. In fact, I've talked to several of the candidates about their plan, because you can't do the door-to-door or big functions, debates and things like that. It's going to all be, in my opinion, driven by TV, radio, and mail and social media. And so it's who can raise the most money quickly and get out there. You have a lot of candidates. I fully expect a runoff. I'm publicly not going to get involved with any one candidate, at least at the beginning of this race, but I'm going to talk to all of them and give them some guidance and see what their plans are.
Will it be hard for candidates to raise money? Again, a lot of regular contributors like to do it face to face. A lot of them are hurting financially because they've had downtime from their work,
yes,
or extra expenses, or maybe have lost their work. Is it going to be hard to raise money?
It's going to be extremely difficult to raise money, because not only can you not have the fundraisers, people are hurting financially. And so when they think about paying my bills versus contributing to a race, that's going to be a low priority. What you're going to find is people who already have money. The mayor already has a good bit of money, and some of the other candidates might be able to self-finance. They're going to have a distinct advantage.
In this race, in this election season, one of the things that's also, I don't want to say on trial, but it certainly is up against it, is conservatism in general and the way we've always done things. We're seeing people out marching in the streets, and what they want to do is just overturn the way we've always done things. Heavy Marxism movements going on in cities across the nation. Do you see that affecting this race, where conservative is going to have a very difficult time convincing voters
I don't think
to
so.
make that decision?
I don't think so in the mayor's race necessarily. I mean, our city is already divided. We are probably a 50-50 city as far as conservative versus liberal. Not many moderates really in Baton Rouge. And so I don't think it'll affect our race, but clearly it disturbs me around the country, the anarchy. I mean, I'm a believer in the rule of law. I'm a supporter of law enforcement, and I want the police to be there to protect us. And so I do get, it frustrates me when I see people just going and tearing statues down and breaking into buildings, and other people just dismissing it and saying, hey, that's their right to protest. Well, it's not.
Well, there's a difference between a protest and damage to property, and we've let that line in a lot of municipalities blur deliberately.
We have, and luckily in Baton Rouge, we've avoided that for the most part. And so I give credit, to our leadership, at least at working to keep that civil and orderly.
The police chief took some heat a couple of weeks ago because there was a demonstration at the police headquarters. There were barricades put up, clear demarcation, don't cross this line. People did. People got arrested. The chief came down and let them go. That's taken a lot of heat. Now, I'm not necessarily, I'm asking how you feel about that. Was that a de-escalation maneuver, or was that a sign of weakness from our chief?
Well, in my opinion, if you have rules and people break the rules, there should be some consequence. Now, did they need to arrest those people and hold them in jail until they bailed out? Not necessarily. They could have given them a ticket, a summons, or
citation.
A citation. You don't need to necessarily bring them to jail. And that would be how you would de-escalate it. But if you have rules, you have to have consequences, or at least treat them people uniformly.
Well, I'm sure we'll see it. It's not going to go anywhere, but I'm sure we'll see somebody who will get some legislator to, have a defund the police bill. Now, it is my understanding that under most state constitutions and most city charters, that would be an illegal act, so it's a non-starter. It sounds good. It makes a nice
It's like a state butterfly bill.
Yeah, but you can't really defund the police.
Non-consequential.
Is that accurate?
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. I mean, the police, other than state police, the local police are funded by the local municipalities, and the Home Rule Charter governs that. I mean, here in East Baton Rouge, it is interesting because we have more than one police force because we have different municipalities, and then we have the sheriff's office, and then we have the constable's office. So we have multiple, but those are operated and controlled by the local entities. The state only controls the state police.
And state police is basically Department of Public Safety, which I believe is a constitutional office, isn't it?
It is. So, you could try to, I guess, reduce their budget, but I don't really see an appetite for that with the legislature. Most people that I run into in my district and just in town, they appreciate having police protection.
If you don't mind, I'm going to steer you back to the potential for another special session. It's pretty well expected that there are going to have to be mid-year budget adjustments.
Yes.
Whatever those are going to be, whether new revenue sources come in from the Fed or whatever. Do you see any possible attempts to free up money by way of removing more not constitutional dedications, but can there be some more wiggle room in the budget if more statutory dedications are overturned?
There could be, and I think there will be an effort to get more flexibility because that has always been a problem we've had both with the Constitution and the stat debts, not having the flexibility to adjust the budget. The problem is every stat debt has an organization with a high-powered lobbyist who will tell you if this goes away,
the sky will fall.
The sky will fall. And this industry will be out of business. So that'll be something on the table. But I am worried because the longer the shutdown is, it's not just people not being able to go back to work, but businesses, sales taxes go down, gambling revenues go down. I heard this morning that we make more in gambling revenue than we do from the oil and gas industry
now. Yeah.
And again, all the people that were opposing it, 20 years ago, didn't understand they took an awful lot of people that had no income or low income, and they got them into decent paying jobs with good benefits and retirement plans and things like that. The economics of this are mind-boggling. It's like somebody took a snow globe and just shook it and set it back down on the table and said, there you go.
Yeah, and that's why I actually would like to see the casinos open earlier than they did in phase one, but we got them open in phase two, and we need the casinos to stay open because we make a lot of revenue off the casinos. And we're going to have, the state projections, I believe, are going to go down because I don't think the projectors thought the COVID would last as severe as long as it has. I thought they thought in the summertime it would go down.
Yeah.
So it's going to depend on how much federal dollars we get, but there's definitely going to be some rearranging of the budget that will be necessary.
I want to preface this question before we go to commercial, but we're seconds away from a break. But we talked with Paula Davis about diversifying the state's economy in general. I want you to think about that. We'll talk about that when we come back, okay? We're talking with State Senator Franklin Foyle, and Exiles returns in just a moment.
So when does your show?
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Yeah, please have a call.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Glad to have you along with us this morning.
Hello. That was a long.
It was a long. We have a member of the audience here I want to recognize. He's a big radio fan, and because of COVID, he doesn't have his daily gospel hour, but Andy Foyle is in the back there. Andy, thank you for coming and visiting our.
Good seeing you again, Andy.
And I know you're a radio guy. And when I was about your age and I did radio, and somebody was talking to me about television, here's what I told them. I said it's simply radio with colored static. That's all it is.
There you go. There you go.
We're talking with State Senator Franklin Foyle, and before the break, I brought up the subject of diversifying our economy. It's quite possible that oil may never return to its glory days in Louisiana, and we have to find other ways. We also talked with Representative Davis about sometimes there's the worst resistance you get to a new source of jobs and money. Is the local governments. When it gets right down to it, so the biggest objections sometimes you get are from the local governments. So how do we go about this? You know, what do you see for the future of Louisiana?
We've already started trying to recruit research and development type of firms to Louisiana. In fact, I extended a tax credit this past session for R&D firms to come to Louisiana. I extended the sunset on that. You know, we did that with IBM. That hasn't grown like we hoped it would, but we need to use our universities, and we need to use Pennington and the assets we have here to bring in more of the research and development type of businesses, because oil and gas is not going to stay where it's been forever. In fact, with the technology going to electric and things like that, there's going to be less demand.
Do you think that at the executive level, they are dynamic enough in terms of looking at all kinds of new business? Commissioner Strain was where you were sitting last week, and he was telling us about some great economic development plans in agriculture. You know, and I know there are certain legislators like yourself that are very dynamic in growing our business portfolio. I wonder if the executive branch has enough eyes and ears on that.
I don't think we do. I mean, we certainly have people in the legislature who recognize it, but there are a lot of state workers in this state, and that's where a lot of people are employed. And so we sometimes, I think, spend too much time just worrying about the status quo as opposed to expanding the private sector.
Mm-hmm.
And really, there is, as this technology comes about, there's less need for as many state workers as we have. And same for the private sector. I mean, you go to restaurants now, like a McDonald's, a lot of times you just order online.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about the entertainment industry? Seems to be making something of a resurgence, but should we nurture that, or is that not consequential enough to be a big part of our fisc?
Oh, I think it's a big part of our fisc, and that's what we're known for, especially New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Baton Rouge and Lafayette and the Cajun area also has their festivals and things, but that's something we are known for, the music and the food. And
what about television and filmmaking? I mean, you know, NCIS New Orleans has been dropping a whole lot of money into the economy for 9 years now, and there are others, you know, the Twilight series, for example, and some of these others.
And we were having a lot of movies when we had the movie tax credit, and it's hard for me to figure out whether it was good or bad, to be honest with you, because you hear different views.
Depends on who you're asking.
Yeah, on whether or not we really got our return on the revenue for that. But the entertainment is something that with technology, it'll always be here. People are going to want music. They're going to want good food. And so that's here to stay. That's why this COVID thing has been so devastating to our economy, because those are areas where you can't go.
I'm not sure. Is Cortana in your district?
It is not. It's across the street.
Okay, but
it's across the street from because I have Broadmoor on the other side of Florida.
I saw the failure to secure that Amazon facility as a huge failure in economic development. I mean, how did we let that slip through our fingers without making some kind of I know Dillard's wanted to stay, but couldn't some kind of an agreement be worked out?
Yeah, and I don't know the specifics. I did read about that, but that to me is a failure of leadership at the top. I'm not sure why the mayor wasn't out there, and maybe she did do something, but it wasn't reported. I would have been out there, you know, and expect the mayor to be out there up front to make that deal happen.
Well, you know, I was involved with Cortana at the very beginning when I was a much younger man. And the fact is, all those anchor stores own those buildings. That is their real estate. They paid no monthly rent. So you can sell off where all the smaller stores were in that mall. Mm-hmm. So if Dillard's says, we're not going, what that means is somebody did not make them a good enough offer.
Right.
And they are making a lot of money on that Dillard's closeout store. Mm-hmm. Did anybody think to offer them a comparable size relocated elsewhere so that they would then sell that building to Amazon? My guess is no. Nobody did.
I think you're right. And what's disappointing to me is there really was no reporting on what happened with that transaction.
It just boomed.
And so I really don't know who did what, but it certainly should have been a very public push to secure Amazon here, and you could have made that happen with Dillard. I'm sure that you could talk with the CEO, and it's all about dollars and cents, but you could work something out.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Dillard's, the company is still family owned, from what I understand, and they are in business to make money.
But this is the point I was alluding to, is that when it comes to economic development, both on a statewide level sometimes and down, especially when you get down to the local, where is it going to be? We cut off our nose to spite our face.
No, we do. And I think, you know, there were I certainly had some disagreements with Governor Jindal, but I did think he did a good job about focusing on economic development. I thought Stephen Moray did a good job.
Stephen Moray was a superstar.
I mean, that was really one of their top priorities, was economic development. Mm-hmm. And you know, we had some budget issues when Governor Edwards came in, but I have not really seen the same priority for the economic development, and same at the local level.
And I think Don Pearson's got the bona fides. And I could be entirely wrong, but I do think that a lot of information is getting filtered about, if you can get this business interested, where are you going to put them that will keep this community happy or keep this voter bloc happy, as opposed to let's let them pick a place and support it and everything else be damned.
Yeah, and that's the problem, because you have multiple people with different interests instead of us working collectively to get the business to Baton Rouge, regardless of where they set up, and they bring jobs and money to Baton Rouge.
And then that all circulates in the whole economy.
We've got to take another quick break, last one of the hour, and we'll be back. Wrap things up with Franklin Foyle on Exiles TV.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvant.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Clarence Bug Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bug Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
Welcome back as we wrap things up here with State Senator Frank. I keep wanting to call you representative because you've been you served so long in the House, but State Senator Franklin J. Foyle, Senate District 16.
So, as we come to our end here, we're under 2 minutes. Would you like to talk about what the next year or so is probably going to look like from the Senate's point of view?
It's very uncertain, I can tell you that. We, we'll have a special session, I believe, this fall to adjust the budget, and I'm hoping and praying that these vaccine trials are really making progress and that we have something to look forward to at the end of the year. That can change things drastically. But in the meantime, we have to prepare for the worst, and so we are going to just have to be very flexible and do what we can. The Senate will. Next session, we just don't know what to expect yet. It'll be a fiscal session, so we'll see.
Well, we appreciate your time and your service, and we look forward again to having you again on this program.
My pleasure.
As we get a little further into the year and see what COVID is doing to us. Don't forget, tomorrow morning on the Morning Exiles podcast, we will be on our Facebook Live page called The Morning Exiles from around 8:05 till around 9:15 or so. We now take a coffee break in the middle. We don't do a continuous hour, but we hope you will join us then. And who have we got on with us Tuesday on this program?
We're scheduled to talk with C. Denise Marcel, candidate for mayor of East Baton Rouge Parish, among others.
Among others. So make sure you join us. Don't forget the replay, 10 o'clock tonight. And don't forget that we are on YouTube, usually, about 4 hours after we wrap it up here. And that is under Pelican Broadcasting on YouTube. And we should be the first thing that pops up in the queue today. And don't forget, download the app. It's easy to download. It's in your app store. And you can stream us anytime we are live. Thanks for joining us. Have a good weekend.
And may God bless. Take care of yourself.
Bye-bye.